my DeWalt DWS780 12-inch dual compound sliding miter saw. How's it held up? It's been almost 2 years now since the original unboxing. I'm Rick. This is the Shack. Hello and welcome. If this is your first time stopping by, I want to say thank you so much for taking some of your time out to view my channel. I always ask that you browse around, check out some of the other videos. I do home improvement, home repair, projects, and tool reviews. Today I'm going to go over my DeWalt compound miter saw DWS780. After 2 years of service, has anything come up? Plus, I have a tool. I'm going to recheck all my angles to see just how good that original digital angle finder actually worked out. When I originally unboxed this miter saw, I didn't like the video. It actually took about a month for me to get it out, to go over everything. It just didn't come out right, and still had a little bit of problem because we have a problem with wind out here, and it's just annoying as all get out. But I went over all the things on the miter saw, and I also showed you how to adjust the angles and the stops on the miter saw. And originally, and this was 2 years ago, I had the Rockler engineer square and the general digital angle finder. So I set the digital angle using the engineer square at 90, and then put it on here and dialed it in till I got either 90 degree or the first stop at angle 22.5, 33.9, or the 45 degree on the bevel cut. I also checked it as far as square against the fence, and I loosened these up and I got that almost dead on 90 or 0. After 2 years, I've acquired a couple of new tools. I have the 641 6-inch woodpeckers square, and my newest tool, or not newest now, I've had it for a couple months now, the woodpecker one-time tool. It is a stainless steel poly gauge, and that's what I use now for my angles to make sure that this is dead on, and it was off just a hair. So I will tell you right now, for the price of this, it wasn't off too much. Now, after any period of time with any tool, there's maintenance to do. And after moving it around, switching it around, angling it here and there, you know, there's always a chance that these bolts and these stops will loosen or vibrate or something after a period of time. It's just natural. And when I checked it, my 90 up and down is definitely off, and I'll show you that, and I'm going to reset it, and we'll check the other angles with the poly gauge. This is the woodpecker stainless steel poly gauge, and I can set it on here, check my angle, set it down against my fence, and check every stop, verifying that they are correct, because this is all CNC machine, and it is within 0.001, 1/1000th of an inch. That is much more precise than the digital gauge, which is, I think, if I remember right, it's like I want to say 0.3 or something. You know, it's close, but 0.001 versus 0.3 is a whole lot more precise. But you'll see this did work very well, and it got it pretty darn close, but this is just dialing it in that much more precise. As far as any mechanical failure, there has been none. Any functionality, there has been none. But there is an issue with these little mounting brackets for the miter saw to mount on the miter saw stand. When I did the original video, I shown how this would actually release this lock to detach it from the miter saw stand. You basically, when you grab it, you grab right here first, and it would release this pin and then you grab with the other hand and pull it up, and you could detach it from the Mitersaw stand. Well, after about a year and a couple months, one side started giving me problems, and now both sides don't work. Originally, you put one finger here, you lift up. When you push that, it's supposed to release this lever in there. See? It's supposed to push that out so you can push that up to release it. And it doesn't work now. You can't do it. It doesn't work, so you have to put your hand in there so you can release it. So now, the way I have to do it, I have to use my one finger, get it underneath in there, pull it out, grab the other hands, and then lift it up so I can detach it from the Mitersaw stand. That is the only thing that has gone wrong, failed on this Mitersaw with the stand or the Mitersaw itself. And the only other thing, if you want to call it that, is just over a period of time, because this is just rubber. I may see about getting this replaced. The boot here for the dust collection, when you're cutting, this kind of tore off from the little post it has there it snaps into. Not a big issue, but that's, if anything has gone wrong other than the levers for the clamps for the Mitersaw stand, and that is it. Nothing else has gone wrong with this. So after 2 years, I got no complaints at all. I'm going to bring it up a little closer, and we're going to start checking some angles. Now it shows up easier with the engineer square, but I'm going to show you. After about 2 years of use now, I've not readjusted it. So now I actually have gap down here. We're going to just slightly adjust that stop with a 1/2 inch wrench. Basically, I would go and reach in the back with the knob, open it, move that out of the way, and literally put this on there, and if that was on the wrench, I would turn it that much. Just that little bit of movement each time till I got it just where it's sitting right. So now, whenever I go out of angle, out of 90, I do a bevel cut. I bring it back, go back here, snug it again. I use my engineer square, step it on there. Hopefully you'll be able to see. So you just got to play with it, do your cuts, and dial it accordingly. But that right there shows it darn near dead on, man. That's perfect. So it was just off a bit. I'm going to set it with my woodpecker gauge, my square. Okay, that's dead. That's zeroed out right there. I'll pull this out. We'll see. Make sure that's underneath there. Zeroed out. So it's working good. Just off just a hair, squared it back up, so that's good. Now we use the poly gauge to check our angles. Now if I use my woodpecker poly gauge and I keep this flat on the surface, I bring this over to the blade, that's so close I'm not even going to worry about it. You can't even see. I mean, there's barely, I don't think I can put a hair up there. You see my 45, I am off. I got a little bit of a gap down here. And what I did, you have the stop for your 45 nut right there, and I just backed it off, allowing that to lean further over until it got to the spot where I want it to be. The weight will actually pull it down, so I'm just going to take the adjustment nut back here, loosen up a little bit, And that's good right there. That's a good 45 right there. Now we'll check the 90 on the miter. That's good right there. Second opinion, we'll check it with the Rockler engineer square. That is dead on. I don't see any gap there at all. 22.5. Set the poly gauge up here. Oh man, look at that. That is dead on. There's no gap. This thing is perfect. So let me do 45. Where 45 go? Wow, dead on. Other than my top dead center was off just a little bit. That's from going back and forth a lot. So this is 100% back in action with very minimal fine tuning. Well, there you have it overall. Only a couple minor adjustments and then everything is back in the square. So all in all, these two basic items which I had originally to set it still hold up true and pretty precise, but with the addition of these two, my woodpecker square and the woodpecker poly gauge, just made sure that fine tune was right there. And said the only thing that really was off, I had the 45 was off just a hair on the one end on my bevel, and my 90 when I come back up top dead center was off just a hair. Other than that, this thing's dead on. These actually work. Those help it get a little bit more precise. All in all, I tell you what, I am so glad I bought this. I absolutely love this miter saw. Thinking about getting one, still holds true after 2 years of service. This thing is absolutely dialed in still. A workhorse, well worth the money. And you can still dial it in just fine with the Rockler Engineer Square and the digital angle finder. Set it to 90, dial it, it's going to be really close and pretty darn precise. So after 2 years of use, the only problem I've actually had, nothing to do with the saw, but the stupid little latches that hold the miter saw to the miter saw stand. So I'm going to get this back put away. This is done. This is dialed in, set again for more work. So be blessed, take back your shack, get out there, build it for family, but most importantly, build it for your sanity. I got to put this away, so we're going to see you next video.